Well, again, good afternoon, everyone. We appreciate you joining us here for our next series, our partner series of INFB Facts, which stands for Fueling Ag Collaboration Today series. Again, this is an opportunity for all of you to learn a little bit more about other ag organizations and kind of continue to expand your knowledge around those organizations in different areas within the ag industry. So we are very thankful to have some educators across the state from Purdue Extension to talk with us today a little bit more about each of those areas and talk and focus on some of the resources available to us as members, our Farm Bureau members, and how they have some ties to our membership and what that looks like. So again, my name is Brandon Rice. I am the Leadership Development Coordinator here at Indiana Farm Bureau. Part of my role is working with leadership development programming across the state, as well as having the opportunity to work with our young farmers and ag professionals across the state as well. So again, excited to have these individuals here with us today. So to start off with, I'm just going to have them introduce themselves, and we'll just go ahead and go in the order that we're gonna run down today. So again, we'll start with Amanda with A&R, we'll move to Katie, and then Olivia and Tanya. So I'll let you all introduce yourself, and if you wouldn't mind sharing your ties to Farm Bureau as well, that would be awesome. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here. My name is Amanda Mosman. I'm the Ag and Natural Resource Educator down here in Warwick County. I've been with Extension. I'm starting my 15th year. Wow. I have had the pleasure to work with the Warwick County Board. Warwick County's home for me. My aunt was president for 14 years. I've been on the board since 2011, and some of you might have known I was in the discussion meet. I was on the Young Farmers team 2011 through 2013 as well.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kay Sweet. I am the 4-H Youth Development Extension Educator in Hendricks County. I do apologize for hopping on late. Today, we are having an all-day Zoom related to hunger and poverty and teaching youth how they can make a difference in their community. So bouncing back and forth a little bit today. But I am part of the Youth Advisory Board with Farm Bureau. That's fairly new. I work with Becca and I've met a couple times with her. And so and I've worked with Farm Bureau for a couple different things related to 4-H at the county level as well. I have been in Extension 8 years, 2 of which were in Marshall County, so up in northern Indiana. And then the rest of the time I have been lucky to be here in Hendricks County.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Olivia Western. I work with Purdue Extension in St. Joseph County, South Bend, Mishawaka area. I'm a health and human sciences educator, and I've been on board for about 4 years. But I've been a member of Farm Bureau since I think 2011, but my family has been involved for a very long time in Whitley County area, and I think has held some leadership positions. And then I'm a member of the St. Joseph County Board at this time. Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone, at least afternoon in Eastern time. So I'm Tanya Hall. I'm a Community Development Regional Extension Educator, which is a really long title for saying I simply serve the state of Indiana when it comes to community development. So I am actually housed in Orange County, so probably better to say French Lick area, if you're familiar with that space. My family has long ties with Farm Bureau. My dad has been involved with Farm Bureau at the leadership level in Allen County, but also my husband just recently joined Farm Bureau here locally. You know, it's very different how a Farm Bureau is down here in Southern Indiana relative to the county that I was born and raised, but it's all good. So glad to be with you all today.
All right, thank you all very much. We appreciate that. So today, again, like I had mentioned, is they're going to share a little bit more about their area of extension and kind of what that is, what they do, and then talk a little bit about different resources, life after COVID, what resources are available again, and are there any opportunities for different collaboration with Farm Bureau and how we can continue to support them? So to start us off again, we are going to have Amanda talk. So thank you again, and I'll turn it over to you.
All right, thanks, Brandon. So Ag and Natural Resources, obviously our main mission is educational program based on community need. that's a huge part of where Farm Bureau has really been beneficial to me in Warwick County, but also from a county, being on advisory boards. What do your members want? Tell us. That is something that we can incorporate into our plan of work. We have state focus areas. So each educator, we kind of have different focus areas. Diversified food and farming systems, that's your organics, fruit and veg, agritourism, small farms, farmers markets. We have our horticulture section. We do a lot of master gardener training. We work with our commercial vegetable producers, commercial nurseries, lawn care. We're more well-known, obviously, for farm management. That's our Ag Econ. We have a women in ag team, a farm stress team that's been really active here the last few years, and a succession planning team under that. Field crops groups have really gotten into UAV technology. We put on our PAC field days, which is our Purdue Ag Research Centers. We have several across the state trying to incorporate research and have conversations with producers about the new things. We do a lot with soil health. Our animal science team, there is a species team subset. Some really exciting work being done with meat products now with our specialist, Dr. Stacey Zwelly. Land use and natural resources is an area that I think, Farm Bureau probably doesn't coordinate with us most directly, but there's a lot of ways to collaborate there. We work with forest owners, timber management. We, by state statute, if we're a resident of our county, serve on our zoning and planning boards. I serve as our state team lead for that, co-lead for that. We're doing a lot with climate and climate change, mitigating that, but also invasive species. So that's our educational programming, kind of the state focus areas that each educator is expected to have an expertise area that they're building on, but you have access to that up and down because we work cooperative across region. And as COVID, we really learned that we can work more cooperatively across state. We are an individual source of research-based info. So several of us can come out and help do crop scouting. We love it. We love getting out of the office. Please ask us. Several of us hold our certified crop advisor. We do a lot of home horts. So any bug, tree, weed, lawn care issue, we can help adjust that. And that's a free service that a lot of people can't, wrap their heads around. Truly, I think a lot of percentage of what we do is help. I just bought property. We go out and work with them. We do some research, less so than before. In the Southwest District, we still have our area plots. I know in Adams County, Brad Colghagen still has his variety trial plots. We're doing more on-farm research. So we work with producers that are wanting to really tailor in some management practices. So we may be helping them more so than doing the research ourselves. We're really tied into the PAC centers as well and sharing that. As far as county specific groups, we serve as advisors and members on a lot of boards, the area plan commissions, emergency management. That's pretty frequent because a lot of times the ag agent is named in the county emergency plan. Park boards, Farm Bureau boards, weed boards, soil and water, FFA, 4-H. We coordinate with all of them and typically on a monthly basis. We do aid with 4-H youth programming. It's an all hands on deck to get youth programming out during the summer. It's been great to work more cooperatively with the community development side of things, which Tanya will talk about here in a few minutes. As far as how do we benefit each other, tech. I've had, Adam, our new regional managers come down, and he's actually taught me a few things, but before that was where I was really helping out. We have access to lots of training on new platforms. We have the equipment most of the time, or at least we can ask to get it. How can we help Farm Bureau increase your reach? Sitting around a table is great. We all love it. We've terribly missed it over the last 18 months, but as more and more individuals are away from ag and have full-time jobs, how can we use that technology to try to incorporate some better educational program, talk to individuals about legislation and those sorts of message? We can really help with reach. We work with a diversified audience. I know Farm Bureau has known that this has been a missing piece with the diversified farms and small farm systems. You guys are working on it. We're tied in. How can we help? Input. By far, that's the most thing we need. Farm Bureau members, Farm Bureau boards, we crave input on programming, input on what's needed, what's coming down the pike that you want to know more about. Our programming gets based on our community need. If we don't know it's a need, you know, we can't address it. So input is by far the best thing for A&R. Support, you know, support educator programs, support professional development. You know, if there's funding available, that's fabulous. Budget is a very complex issue for extension. So educators, you know, find themselves sometimes on the short end of a stick, especially in some rural counties. So if you can, you know, support an educator in a way, that would also be great. So I think that's about it for A&R.
All right, well, thank you. I appreciate that insight there. We will have an opportunity for questions, so feel free to jot those down. But what I'd like to do is kind of continue through this first, just for the sake of time. So hold those questions till the end. I know Amanda might have to go. However, we do have some backup on here while she's traveling. So again, appreciate you being able to be on here, Amanda, and I'm going to turn it over to Katie.
Awesome. Thank you. And I, not trying to be an overachiever, but I just have a really bad memory. So I had to have some points on a slideshow for you guys, just because my memory is not so great right now. But I am excited to be here and representing the 4-H portion of Purdue Extension. And so I just want to go over a couple things related to 4-H and how we work with Farm Bureau, not only in our county, but how I've also heard and seen Farm Bureau work with other 4-H programs across the state. So just in case you need a history lesson, 4-H started more than 100 years ago, and we were designed to help prepare young people to be leaders in their community and around the world. And our mission is right there on the screen. I try and start every 4-H function with this mission up there so our volunteers and our 4-Hers remember why we're there. And it is to provide real life educational opportunities that develop young people who will have a positive impact in their communities and the world. And if you think about it, that is just such a powerful statement that we want to help our youth with. And we know that Farm Bureau is key in helping provide a lot of those experiences that youth go through in our program. So we help them dig deeper into their passions and give them the opportunities that they may not have in an in-school setting to explore those different things. I like to tell kids 4-H is where you can maybe figure out what you might want to do when you grow up and maybe things that you definitely don't want to do when you grow up, without the expense of having to go to school for 4 years after high school and spend lots of money trying to figure that out at a later time in life. So we have a really strong partnership with our Farm Bureau, I would say across the state for sure. And one of the first things that came to mind is definitely our tenure awards that Farm Bureau provides for all 92 counties, I believe. And these are our top 2 4-Hers within the community. So these pictures are actually from Washington County because we have not had our fair yet. So these are the banners that get displayed at the fairs celebrating the top 2 4-Hers within each community. And when many people think of 4-H, they do think of the county fair. Excuse me. And the Farm Bureau is a huge supporter of county fairs in a variety of ways. For us specifically, you can see some pictures there on the screen. That's our Ag Experience barn. So for the past several years, minus last year because it was 2020. We have what we call Ag Experience, and it's a walkthrough station where 4-H, FFA, Farm Bureau, several other ag partners in the community have partnered together to be able to allow the education of our public related to agriculture. So there's different stations in there. We have some of our small animals. I don't want to say necessarily petting zoo, but animals that are in a less hectic setting than our barns that are going, show day is happening. And so it's been a really awesome opportunity to provide that educational piece here in the county. So if you're in Hendricks County at the end of July, be sure to stop and check that out. Other ways that we know Farm Bureau supports Indiana 4-H is through sponsorships, whether that's trophies, banners. A lot of different Farm Bureaus help host fair events. So our local Farm Bureau hosts a pet parade for some of our younger community members. I know that there have been pedal tractor pulls in different communities, and Barnyard Olympics, those types of things hosted by Farm Bureau. So there's several ways that Farm Bureau is already supporting the 4-H program in a fun and educational way as well. And while the fair is definitely our cherry on top for many of our 4-H members, it's not the only thing we do throughout the year. I know many people are surprised to hear that 4-H is more than just a, 1 week of the fair type thing, but throughout the year, Farm Bureau also supports us in different ways. And another big one is definitely Ag Day. And in Hendricks County, we have about 600 fourth graders that we reach typically on our one-day ag program, or Ag Day program, where they can come in and you can see, again, pictures there. They get some tractor education, tractor safety education. They get to see some animals. We do a biofuels blast experiment with them. This year, we actually went virtual. And so I will type in the chat box that link here in a little bit, so you guys can see our website that we use and shared with all of our fourth grade teachers around the county. And this year we were actually able to reach close to 1,000 students compared to the normal 600 because people didn't have to travel as much. And then thanks to a statewide partnership, one of the new opportunities we have is a thing called Goose Chase, where it's a virtual scavenger hunt. So Indiana Farm Bureau and Indiana 4-H has partnered together to be able to provide this opportunity for all 92 counties within Indiana. So you might see this at fairs, you might see this with junior leader programs, mini 4-H programs, other educational opportunities throughout the year as well, but we're really excited to dive into that. And then definitely 4-H program sponsors. And this is something that looking ahead, definitely Farm Bureau could sponsor at the local level, the state level. One example is this past year, I was able to help to provide a life lesson session for like high school students about things that we take for granted as adults. And Farm Bureau was able to give us some really cool goodies that we were able to give in a take-home box to send to kids across the state. So that's one way, definitely. I'm trying to keep track of my time. A couple of things, what's next for 4-H? Hybrid programming we think is still going to happen. Like I mentioned today, I'm also on a Zoom call all day because we have some host sites around the state that are doing some programs, but we're all doing it together virtually and in person. So we are hoping to have better accessibility to statewide programs. Amanda mentioned technology. I feel like Extension has really expanded on that. And I know Farm Bureau has too. Spark programs, which are our short-term 6 hours of education and experience for youth. There's some great partnership opportunities there, whether it's funding or volunteering. Having Farm Bureau people help support some of those short-term programs that we do, as well as some of our longer terms. New technology, updated projects, new ways to reach the community. We're always looking for ways to get our name out there, and Farm Bureau I know is too. So how can we work together on those? And then we are still helping develop life skills, just in a different way after COVID. We're still trying to be out there, and we're still trying to provide those opportunities. So I foresee working with Farm Bureau to be able to provide a lot of those opportunities for our youth in the community. So I think I'm over time, but I will exit now and turn it back over to Brandon.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Next, we have Olivia Western. So I'll bring her back up on the screen here. And again, if you have questions, feel free to type those in the chat. We'll get to them. We'll have an opportunity here at the end to answer some of those questions. So Olivia, it's all you.
All right, thanks, Brandon. Yeah, so you guys have heard a lot about Extension already so far, and the next page is Health and Human Sciences. So our Health and Human Sciences educators, similar to A&R and 4-H, we're delivering programming in the community, but also a variety of resources. So Health and Human Sciences educators, we cover 4 main focus areas. And those are financial resource management, health and wellness, human development, and foods and nutrition. Now, let's see here. With financial resource management, some of the programming that we do that I think would be probably most appealing to Farm Bureau members, and we have some estate planning workshops that oftentimes HHS will partner with ANR on. We can also help educate and provide resources on living wills, but budget planning and developing spending savings plan for household budgets can be very important. Let's see here. We also do quite a bit around credit and staying scam safe. That's something that's been important during COVID-19. I'm gonna go ahead and switch off my video here. I think I'm freezing. Let's see here. Otherwise, within HHS, we have health and wellness, and in that realm, we discuss farm safety on occasion, and then address chronic disease prevention through some programs like an app. It looks like my computer has frozen.
Olivia, are you there?
Oh, maybe not.
We can hear you again.
Okay, good. So some of our other programs in human development, we cover co-parenting, as well as topics around strengthening families. We've got brain cover foods and nutrition, which I think is one of the broader topics that I think Farm Bureau is going to be most interested in. So we cover things like nutrition and portion sizes, discussing food groups and how those are important to our health, but we also cover a lot in food safety. And food safety is something that I know is important for our home-based vendors, that I know we have quite a few of those that are members of Farm Bureau, but we also
Olivia, I don't know if you can
scale that looks into.
You are frozen again. If you might be able to maybe turn your video off, that might help with some of your connection here. So we all know how rural broadband works, so it's a real thing.
It is. Let's see here. Let's see here. Sorry, friends. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, did my video close?
Nope, your video is still on.
Let me hop on from another direction and see if this helps.
I also turn your video off here.
Oh yeah, maybe it will let you do it.
Let's see. All right, go ahead.
Sorry, friends. This is just.
All right, Olivia, we might come back to you. We'll go ahead and we'll move on to Tanya for a second. Olivia also did share shared a document with us that kind of is an outline of some of the HHS or HHS topics that she was discussing today. So if you'd like that, I'm happy to share that with you after as well. So we'll try and come back to her, but we'll actually just go ahead and move on to Tanya for now for the sake of time.
All right, thank you. And yes, I'm very familiar with broadband issues. I can't tell you how many times I'm in the middle of a meeting and that happens. So I feel you, Olivia. So when it comes to community development, our primary mission is to really strengthen the capacity of local leaders, residents, businesses, and organizations. And what we're really aiming for is to build resilient, inclusive and sustainable communities through research-based resources and processes. So there's a lot, wrapped up into that mission statement in terms of what we're doing. But at the bottom line is, well, what we are aiming to do is create more vibrant communities for everyone within that community. And we do that by focusing on 5 different thematic areas, such as leadership and civic engagement. And so some of you may be very familiar with our community leadership program. I know Farm Bureau has been a big advocate in helping us have our state house visits for different counties that have a state house visit, helping coordinate, helping connect with the different legislators, or helping us just, figure out how to navigate that place when we are bringing up individuals from the county up to the state house. So that's been very helpful. Some other things that we do that are very individual, focused include like facilitative leadership. So this would be things like where, helping build confidence in individuals who are leading the conversation within groups, helping them make decisions together. We also have navigating difference. And so this is where, especially as we grow in our diversity here within Indiana, and I don't mean diversity necessarily in terms of what we look like, but also in terms of backgrounds, in terms of how we were raised, in terms of our environments, maybe how many siblings you have in your family, all those kind of different ways that make us different. We have that training that's available for individuals. Some other trainings that we have include beginner's guided grant writing. So this is for individuals who, maybe have dabbled into grant writing, but don't feel like they're very proficient at it. Or as we see a lot more grants come out there for funding opportunities, this is a great opportunity for them to feel like they know what they're doing. So this is a great program that we offer for individuals, but can also be for organizations as well. So we are starting to kind of shift how we do our programming, in that we are willing to work with organizations. So this could be a prime opportunity, perhaps, that we could partner with Farm Bureau and offer the beginner's guided grant writing to the different members within the organization. We also have some programs that are much more community focused. So the ones that I just mentioned before seemed a little bit more individualistic, as in individuals are going to gain education and have become a stronger leader. We have a fair amount of programming that's from a community standpoint, meaning that we are convening groups together and helping them to figure out the best practices in terms of working within the community on complex issues. So you may have heard of the Hometown Collaboration Initiative. We were in 19 different communities throughout the state of Indiana, and that was a partnership between Ball State University, the Office of Rural and Community Affairs, as well as Purdue PCOD, to the Purdue Center for Regional Development. And so that entailed a lot of community coaching, helping guide those groups forward in terms of focusing on leadership, their local economy, or quality of life. Beyond that, when we do focus on the business and economic development side of a community, so things like business retention and expansion plans. So this could be, we have actually had several counties, like for example, Park County is one. There's a couple others that have focused on agribusiness. So communities recognize that agribusiness is very important to their local economy, but they don't always know how to support those businesses. So this is more of a community-based approach to helping the community understand how can they support the businesses that they have within their borders, if you will, of the county, and what can they do to help them grow. And then we talk about technology. We're seeing fiber go across the state of Indiana. So we've got to help equip our communities to be able to navigate, the new opportunities. So we have some programs for small businesses in terms of digital ready businesses. So these are for the small businesses that they see there could be some opportunities to have a website. They could do some e-commerce, but they are really hesitant to do that. So this is kind of a way to tip their toes in the water and understand what could be the opportunities for them to actually be online. And we've actually had several success stories that said, hey, because we took digital ready business before COVID happened, I was able to pivot better during COVID. So that's really reassuring to know that our programming is on the mark. Farm Bureau has been involved with a new curriculum that we have that's called American Citizen Planner for here in Indiana. And so I know they were involved with some of that creation. And so like Amanda said earlier, we do work with the local and area planning commissions and different groups. This program is to help individuals who are on that commission or plan or team to understand how they can be the best representative and be able to understand how to really help with the community navigate some of the planning documents. And that also falls under the on local government. If you know Dr. Larry DeBoer, you know, he's very well known for his commentary when it comes to local government and helping communities. We actually have a webinar that's usually about once a quarter that helps communities understand our county government, understand how the local or how the statewide different bills that are going through is going to impact at the county level. Last but not least, you know, we have quality places. And so, you know, we all like to live in places that we enjoy being within. So this includes trails, this includes walking paths, this includes our natural resources. So we have a fair amount of programming that revolves around helping communities plan for those amenities within the communities and really bringing together a wide variety of stakeholders. And we would love for Farm Bureau to be at the table, because that is one thing that I'm noticing, is that it seems like the ag voice, the traditional ag voice, is not always at the table. And that's really important, especially as the communities are thinking about and planning ahead for ways to make their communities more appealing for individuals down the road. There's a lot more that I could talk about when it comes to community development. We have a lot of things going on. But I gave to Brandon our website. So I strongly encourage you to take a minute to look at that website and kind of dive into the different programs that we have. We actually have some other programs that are happening. We're now starting to work on workforce development. So that is another area that we're working on in terms of thinking about how does Purdue Extension operate in that very crowded marketplace when it comes to workforce development in meaningful ways. So again, there's a lot that we're doing. We definitely love to have partners at the community level to help us to make sure that we are getting a full representation of everyone within the community as the communities try to navigate these complex challenges that they are always trying to tackle in meaningful ways.
All right, well, thank you, Tanya. And like you said, there's definitely a variety of opportunities out there to work together. So I appreciate you sharing some of those pieces. Like she mentioned, I did put the link to the community development webpage into the chat. So feel free to copy that or work with or to check that out as well. We are going to try one more time. Olivia has a couple things to wrap up here before we open it up to questions, and then we'll close out.
All right. Okay, this should be much better. Thanks again for your patience, friends. The gist of Health and Human Sciences, we focus programming in food, family, money, and health. But for today's purposes, I think Farm Bureau has the best opportunity to partner or support or spread the message on food. We do a lot with nutrition and learning about those topics, but we also deal a lot with food safety, which is very important. For most farm operations, we're part of that food chain and the public health system. So being up to date on our food safety practices is very important. And then that's also helpful if we are home-based food vendors or do a lot of food preservation that maybe we're selling at farmers markets, things like that. So highly recommend joining us for Serve Safe classes or any of our home food preservation courses. And then I'd also like to share a resource called Food Link with you, especially if you go to farmers markets and are selling produce, things like that. We have a great website with recipes, demonstrations and things like that, but also little cards that you can print out that have this information. You can take those with you to the farmers markets to either hand out or just have by your produce. So maybe some more obscure crops like okra, people might not know what that is, but maybe you have the Food Link card there. People can scan it or look it up on their phone and check out some recipes really easily. But then our community wellness coordinators, another part of HHS, and our educators, we also assist with community gardens and helping set up those and making some of those healthier choices easier and placing them in the environment. And overall, that is a big win for our farmers because we're helping push some of that healthy food that we work really hard to grow for our families and communities. So I think that's the gist, but like Brandon mentioned, we've got a one-pager with some more details. And of course, you can reach out with any questions, but that's all I got. Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you, Olivia. We appreciate you joining us again today. And I apologize for the technical difficulties there, but glad we got that figured out. So All right. So with that being said, I will open the floor up to questions. I do have one question, or it's really more of a comment. So Greg, I know you had asked about it, so I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. Now that I've got the educators on the line, just a little background about myself. I've been with Farm Bureau for 31.5 years. I've been involved in our county extension, our area and state PCARET, and I'm currently the president of our extension board. We had an interview for a position that we had open last night and had similar issues, so it's not something that's not uncommon, but more of a reason why we need to have better broadband across the state. My comment is, how can Farm Bureau and Extension work more closely together to surface candidates for the area PCARET positions and also the state PCARET positions? It's been a struggle in Area 7 where I'm the president, and it's just a challenge to try to find people to serve in those positions.
I can go ahead, and I have a few thoughts about that. So with my time on the State Young Farmer Committee and how we as Farm Bureau get involved with policy development, that is an extremely hard line for Extension. We are research-based, we are unbiased, and policy can be, you know, a sticky wicket and a wicked problem and both sides of the aisle and coming together. PCARET is the only arm of policy that we have to lobby for that extension funding on that state and federal level. And Farm Bureau is so well poised. Its members, what you guys do to educate, you know, you guys have the weekly updates during the legislative session. Farm Bureau members are so informed with what's going on state and federal policy that would just be, I don't know how we partner, but I'd love to have a dialogue about that to figure out, because I think that would be fantastic for all.
Any of the others?
I think Amanda hit it the nail on the head. I mean, I think you guys are very well poised to be able to provide some of that background training on how to advocate, you know, for extension. And so I would love to see some collaboration, whether it be with the young farmers or whether it be, you know, a very intentional leadership opportunity for your Farm Bureau members to become a PCARET member. So again, you know, like Amanda said, there is a fine line in terms of what a PCARET member is expected of them and not getting into partisan issues and whatnot. But I think there would be a fantastic opportunity for them, that leadership overlap, you know, again, with some intentionality. I don't have a direct answer, but I think Amanda was spot on.
I would like to mention that, like, statewide support is absolutely very important, but there's also county support that could be useful as well. So the county boards and the state board, as you're writing those state policies, keeping some of these programs in mind, like 4-H, HHS, A&R, and telling your more local representatives too, you know, keep funding this if that is what your board chooses. But yeah, it's another piece.
For the benefit of the other staff members that are on the call, PCARET is the Purdue Council of Ag Research, Extension, and Teaching. It is the citizen lobbying organization for Purdue Extension School of Agriculture. And yeah, as the past state treasurer of PCARET, you know, I noticed that a lot of county farm bureaus at the time I was treasurer either were or were not involved with PCARET. And there's also been some clarification from the attorneys at Purdue University about how that submitted or sponsored. And you know, it's helpful to have that communication with the County Farm Bureau boards every year prior to budget time. So for you other new regional managers, if you've got a relationship with your extension, ag and natural resource educator, or the county CED, that's a good way to open the door to get some County Farm Bureau funds to sponsor the area dues for PCARET. Part of the dues does go to the district or the area. The other part goes to, the area then pays the dues to the state for the state funds as well. So we can talk about that at a staff meeting later on if you'd like, but I just wanted to get the extension educators' opinions about how Extension and Farm Bureau can work together more closely to help fund, not just fund, but also to find people candidates to participate in PCARET at the area level.
Well, thank you, Craig. I really do think there's some benefit there in asking and hearing their opinions. They are great resources out in the county, similar to all of our regional managers out in the field as well. So definitely opportunities for relationships there. And I know they're always willing to help out when they can. So it looks like I don't have any other questions here in the chat at the moment. So what I'll go ahead and we'll kind of start closing out here. As always, I do have a survey up here. So if you want to get out your phone and take a photo of that QR code, feel free to do that. Your feedback is definitely very helpful as we continue to move forward here. I can also post the link into the chat as well. And we have a couple other things I'd like to share with you as you are doing that. So I wanted to share with you our next INFB Facts will be on July 28th at noon as well. And with that, we will have, oops, 1 second here, sorry. We will have Shane Christ and the new president that we will find out here shortly who that is, join us for the Indiana Winery and Vineyard Association to talk about a little bit about their organization, what it is that they do. And they also do a lot of policy development as well and have their own group that actually focuses with that. So going to come in and share what they do, but also how we can continue to collaborate with one another, what their life was like kind of pre-post COVID and what they're looking for the future and some of that. So we definitely would encourage you to be a part of that and join us then. We also have the opportunity here again at the end to promote some upcoming programs. As the Young Farmer and Ag Professional Coordinator, I'd like to share some other opportunities that are upcoming here. August 21st will be our first and second round of the discussion meet. This will be virtual again this year, and we are going to have Culver Duck Farms as a tour piece in between rounds as our judges are tabulating scores. So it's a great opportunity to, again, participate in a Farm Bureau event. If you're interested, I would highly recommend that. Registration will be opening here on July 1st. And then our Outstanding County, many people received an email yesterday for our Outstanding County program, for our Young Farmers and Ag Professionals program that will close on September 30th. So that application is live as well. If you do want a printed copy, there's an opportunity for you to download the application itself and fill out throughout the year that you can submit in September. So those can be found again on our website, or if you have any other questions, feel free to email me. I did have the email on here as well, or my email on here as well. Also, I know that I had mentioned earlier, Olivia had shared some slides as well as Katie and some others. So if you'd be interested in some more resources around this, feel free to email me. My email is up here and I'm happy to either direct additional questions to the educators or share that information that they've shared with me. So with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day and we appreciate you all joining. Thanks again. Have a good one.